So last time we went over the pieces, and our first time we went over the fingering for group 1 scales and group 1 arpeggios, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The other thing we need to go over some of the other groups. So what I want to do is I want to have a discussion about all the arpeggio fingering there is. So let's do that. I'm going to pull up my whiteboard. And let's get all the fingering out on the board and see which keys line up where. So we talked about group 1 being right hand 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, and left hand being 5, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, if they were white, white, white. True? And what were those keys?
Mm-hmm. C and G. And C. F.
F.
Yeah.
So that is good for the white, white, whites.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also good for all of the minors, which are
Well, A minor.
What do you mean, all of the minors, and which are all? I mean, all the minors are all minors, aren't they?
The relative minors of those major scales.
well, not necessarily that, but all the white key minors.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all the white key minors. Oh, that's hard to figure out.
The 2, the 3, and the 6 of C. So D, E, and A. Oh, all of them. Oh, that's what you mean.
You with me?
Interesting.
That's one group of scale fingering right there, or arpeggio fingering there. Another one that we had, that we talked about last time, was you remember this?
Yes.
And what keys were those good for?
5, 3, 2, 1.
It's D.
D, yep.
E.
E.
F. No, not F. A.
A, D, A, and E. It's also good for B.
Oh.
Right?
Oh, B. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What other fingering do you know for arpeggios?
Um, 5, 4, 2, 1. Oh, it was on first group.
Which one?
Oh, it was for black.
Okay.
I don't remember. I did it only in our class year ago.
We had the 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. With 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2. What keys are those good for?
1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. 4. And 2, 1, 4. 4.
C sharp.
2.
E flat. A flat. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It also works for the minors.
4, 2, 1, 4, 2. D flat. Wait. 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 1, 2. 4, 1, 2. B flat, C sharp.
So we now have on the board 20 of our 24 keys. Arpeggio fingering. What's missing?
Well, you know, in the book it shows D flat also.
B flat for which?
4, 1, 2 and 2, 1, 4.
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
Uh-uh.
Shows on page 347.
I'll buy 412, but I won't buy 214. The left hand's different for B flat. It is 3, 2, 1.
That says for B flat.
Yeah.
No, I said D as in dog.
D flat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm calling it C sharp. Yeah, but you're right.
Oh, okay. I see, because they're enharmonic.
Yeah. So B flat's kind of an oddball, and it gets its own fingering for major, and it gets its own fingering for minor. All right, so what are we missing? We got 22 keys up here now. Do you know what we're missing?
C, G, F, G, G flat.
E flat major and E flat minor?
G flat.
We're missing E flat minor for sure. E flat major's right here. E flat
Okay.
minor. What is the fingering for E flat minor?
Oh, we're looking at mine. So.
E flat minor and F sharp major belong in this group, I believe. Is that true? Nope, that's not true. They belong in this group. Now we have all 24 keys on the board. It might be worth it for you to take a screenshot of that,
Yes.
either with your camera or with your computer. On the PC, you can hit the print screen button. On the Mac, you can hit Command-Shift-3 or Command-Shift-4 will let you draw a box. Also on the PC, you can use the snipping tool. If you hit print screen on a PC, it will copy it to your clipboard, and then you have to paste it to Word or Paint or somewhere. Does that make sense?
One more time for PC. Would you please repeat it?
Sure. For the PC, you can just hit the print screen button. Do you see it?
Print screen? No.
On your keyboard.
Should be on the
Keyboard.
It should be on the right side.
Print.
And then it's copied my screen to your clipboard, so you need to paste it either in Word or in Paint.
Okay.
There's also a tool in Windows called the snipping tool. And that tool, you don't have to paste it, it just makes a picture for you somewhere. Okay, so those are all of our arpeggio fingerings for every arpeggio, both major and minor, that we'll do in this class. Now, who remembers the 2 things to help us play our arpeggios smoother?
Change in fingering.
We talked about 2 specific things that we do. Does anybody remember? We talked about swiveling, pivoting on our finger.
Mm-hmm.
So swivel. And then did we talk about thumb pointing?
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, we thumb point at my house. Somebody left the milk out. Somebody left their clothes on the bathroom floor. Because guess how far our thumb has to go when we play Group 1 arpeggios? Any ideas?
A fourth?
No. Try again.
An octave?
An octave.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking a fourth because you have the middle, your 3 finger
Sure.
on the G.
Right. Right.
So
But our thumb is playing C, and then it doesn't play again until the next C. So
Yeah.
we have to take our thumb all the way to that octave. So if you swivel and you thumb point, it's going to help you get where you need to go. Does that make sense? All right. What questions do you have on arpeggios? How is your arpeggio practicing going?
Slowly. But arpeggio for me easier than scales.
Really? Yeah.
Really.
It's interesting in the Royal Conservatory of Music method, or in their technique books, they start out with scales and don't cover arpeggios till like level 4.
Oh.
Thought that was kind of interesting. And they only do hands alone at first. Okay, can I stop sharing this screen with you?
sure.
Actually, I'm gonna change it. I wanna write out all of your harmonizations for the first part of the final, the page numbers or the example numbers. Because you all don't have pass-off sheets anymore, do ya?
Nope.
Okay, so let me go text here. So the harmonization examples for first half of the semester are 9-35. Oh, wrong paper. 10-18, 10-20, 10-44, 10-45, and 11-17. So in order to get your badge, you need to record yourself doing these examples. And we need to add transposition to these. Now, if we go to 9-35, that is on page 237. Whoa. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Can you see for He's a Jolly Good Fellow?
Mm-hmm.
Which nobody can deny. All right. So you'll see in your book that they give you a key down here to transpose to. So I want you to be able to transpose it to both. Now, let's talk a little bit about harmonization, because it's been a while, hasn't it? Do
What,
you remember the rules for harmonization?
when you transpose,
Mm-hmm.
you have to change both the key signature and move all the notes down or up
Yes,
the right number of half steps.
that's correct. So in this particular example, we're in what key?
E flat.
3 flats.
Good.
Or A flat. No, E flat.
No, E flat.
E flat. Flat back, and we get E flat. Good. So we're going to be transposing how far, Edison?
Two half steps
Good. To the right.
up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Who remembers our harmonization rules?
Last measure should be tonic, and before last measure should be dominant.
Most of the time, right?
Yeah.
Good. When else do we play tonic?
First measure.
Yeah.
Good, but what's the rule in general? What do we need to have to play a tonic?
One.
1s, 3s, and 5s.
Good. So we're going to play the tonic if we have scale degrees 1, 3, or 5. And this little party hat means scale degree. Good. When are we going to play the subdominant?
When we have lots of 4s and 6s.
2.
When we have 1s, 4s, and 6s. Good, Ben.
3.
Yay. And when are we going to play the dominant chord? And I'm going to put in parentheses here
Two.
the dominant seventh. 2.
7.
I'm going to put 7 at the end.
5.
5. And
6.
4.
4.
Mhm.
2, 7, 5, and 4.
Hey, wait a minute. Those are the notes that make up the chord.
Yes, they are.
Ah.
It can be taught. Does everyone see that?
4.
I should probably show that in Classroom Maestro. Oh no, what's happened? We have tenor clef.
Alto.
This one's tenor.
Tenor.
Yeah.
Here's alto.
Mm-hmm.
So we have soprano, mezzo soprano, alto, tenor, and baritone.
Mm.
And the grand staff. All right, I'm going to go to chord progression land over here. And I am going to play the 1 chord. As soon as my piano warms up over here. I'm going to turn on my analysis so you know that that is a 1, a 4, and a 5. And what Ben was saying was in the key of C major. Our one chord is made up of scale degree 1, 3, and 5. So if we have 1, 3, and 5 in our melody and we play this chord, it's going to match. Here we have 4, 6, and 1. So if we play a 4 chord when our melody has 1, 4, and 6 scale degree notes, it's going to match. And then the dominant 7th, we've got 5, 7, 2, and 4. So if we play that chord when we have 2, 4s, 5s, and 7s in the melody, that's going to match. Are we good with that? Now, questions before I go on? All right, I'm going to erase that. And whoops. And I'm going to show you the rest of the chords. Are you ready? Okay. So there's all my chords in my scale. What I want you to notice is what has what numbers in it. So we said that 1 has 1, 3, and 5. And we said 4 had 4, 6, and 1. And we said 5 had 5, 7, 2, and if it's a dominant 7th chord, it's also going to have 4 in it, right? So what do you notice about these chords? Compared to the others?
Yeah, Jesus said it. They're major.
Yeah. Good job, Jesus. They're all major. And then the 2, the 3, and the 6 are all what?
Down, minor.
They're all minor. But let's look at the scale degrees that make them. So this is made up of 2, 4, and 6. 3 is made up of 3, 5, and 7.
7.
And 6 is made up of 6, 1, and 3. Is this true? So what I want you to notice is how similar 4 and 2 are. They both have a 4 and a 6. And they're only one note different. I want you to see how similar 3 and 5 are. They're very similar. They both have 5 and 7, so they're only one note different between 3 and 4. And I want you to notice how similar 6 and 1 are. They both have 1 and 3, and they're only one note different on the others. Does everyone see that? So these are called substitutions. Do you have your screenshot? Because I'm going to clear the board.
No column.
These chords can be used to substitute for each other. You can also screenshot these again when you watch the video if you miss them, so no worries. All right, so I'm going to clear this and write them a different way. So my one chord is very similar to my 6th chord. I'm going to rearrange my 6th chord so you can see the common tones right next to each other. Same with my 4 chord and my 2 chord, my 5 chord, and my 3 chord. So these are our substitution groups. So 1 and 6, 4 and 2, and 5 and 3. Again, they're going to have 2 common tones and then 1 note different. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I want to go back. I want to flash back to when we first learned harmonization in Piano 1. We learned our first harmonization was a German song. Oh, maybe it's this chapter. It was Do something. Does anybody remember this? Oh, it was this one. So I like to go back to this one. 6-32 on page 164. Now, when we first did this in Piano 2, we put in a tonic here. And we put in what here? Does anybody remember? Let me play the melody to jog your memory. So here we have scale degree what?
4.
Scale degree 4. Scale degree 4. And scale degree
6.
6. So we put in our
Major 4.
1.
4 chord there.
I put in a 4 chord there. I should have put 4 chord. I put in a tonic.
Okay, here we have scale degree 5, 6, 5, 4. And what we're doing is we're taking all of these scale degrees into consideration for this one chord here. So remember, we play a 1 chord when we have scale degrees 1, 3, and 5. We play a 4 chord when we have scale degrees 1, 4, and 6. And we play a 5 chord when we have scale degrees 2, 4, 5, and 7. So here we have 5, 6, 5, 4. 5, 6, 5, 4. It looks like most are in common with the dominant chord there, right? So we're going to put our dominant there. Here we have scale degree 3. The only chord that has scale degree 3 in it is our tonic. Measure 5 is a repeat of measure 3. Measure 6 is a kind of a repeat of measure 4. So I'm going to put my tonic there. You with me? All right, measure 7. What do I got? Scale degree.
4,
4, 4, and
and
3.
3.
What do you want to put there?
Probably a major 4.
Okay.
That 3 is kind of like a passing tone.
Yeah. And then you said we needed to go 5 to 1 at the end, which is true. All right, I'm going to play this with what we've got. Good. Worked, right? Sounded all right?
Yeah.
Now I'm going to switch my color here to blue. And we talked about the 6 substitutes for the 1. The 2 substitutes for the 4. And the 5 is substituted by the 3. Does anybody know what it's called when the 6 substitutes for the 1?
A deceptive cadence.
A deceptive cadence. And I love to play this with Happy Birthday because it's just so funny.
See, what you should do is you should go from the 6 and
Yeah.
play Happy Birthday in minor using the 6 as the new tonic.
That's only once you hit 40 like me.
I love it.
So we deceived you so that we could hit it one more time. This happens at the church all the time. I deceived you. Right? So that's a deceptive cadence. But we can't add on to our harmonization here. So what I want us to do is find a couple places where we can plug in a substitute instead of our normal 1, 4s, and 5s. Any ideas? Any thoughts?
Well, shall we call it measure 4, where we have that whole note on
Yeah.
the 1? We can
Mhm.
substitute that for a minor 6.
We could.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a repeat of it.
Mm.
We could also substitute it here on the repeat.
Yeah.
I like to put it on the repeat because this kind of is one phrase and we establish our major and then we drop the bottom out on them right here. So let's put it there. Either way would work. You're absolutely right, Ben.
Yeah, because it's a phrase, so you end it off with a cadence.
But I'm getting a little bit confused because you substituting. What did you substituted 4 for 1?
No, we can substitute 2 for 4, 6 for 1, or 3 for 5.
6 for 1. But 6 for 1 is. Why can you substitute that?
Well, listen to it. I'm going to play it how Ben and I just put the 6 in and see if you like it.
But it's 6-1, isn't it?
So what we're doing, Edison, is we're getting more colors. Right now we've only had the 1, the 4, and the 5, and that's great, but it's all always happy and Mickey Mouse-ish and bubblegumish, and it's just 3 colors. So we're trying to add 3 new darker colors to the mix.
Okay, but what is it that makes you allowed to exchange the 1 for the 6?
Well, this is what we were talking about right before this when we were over in Classroom Maestro. The 6 and the 1 chord have 2 common tones.
Yeah, they have 2 common only.
The 1 chord has the 1, the 3, and the 5, and the 6 chord
Right.
has the 6,
1 and 3.
the 1, and the 3. So they are so similar you can sometimes interchange them
I'll say.
or
Okay.
substitute them.
2 common.
Yeah.
4.
Does anybody know, Christian, you should know, Jesus, you should know, you were in my theory class. What is the 2 chord sometimes called? It's got a special name based on where it likes to go.
Oh, it's 4 and 5. Yes, you're talking about.
No, I'm talking about the 2 chord. The 2 chord likes to go to the
5.
5, and because it likes to go to the 5, it's called the
Subdominant.
predominant.
Yeah.
The 2 is called the predominant. So a good spot to put the 2 chords right here because 2 goes to 5 so naturally. And if you're a jazzer, you have to learn your 2-5-1 chord progressions in all keys. So now we're going to have a 2-5-1. So I'm going to play this again with my new substitution, 2 for 4 in measure 7. Oh, I missed it. All right. So this semester for harmonizations, every time you do a harmonization, you need at least 2 substitutions. We want a 2 and a 3, or a 2 and a 6, or a 3 and a 6 in every one of your harmonizations this semester. Does that make sense?
Okay. 2, 6.
Yep.
Questions on that?
5 and 7s also are fine, right?
You're talking about the chord, the 7 chord?
Yeah. Yes.
What would you
But-
substitute the 7 for? For the 5?
Well, because because a 7 chord is a 7-2-4, right? A scale degree 7, scale degree 2, and scale degree 4.
You could, but I prefer you stuck with these 3.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
When we do the harmonization, when we do the 5 chord,
Mm-hmm.
we're only going to use 3 keys, right?
Correct.
And so we had to switch those around somehow.
Yeah. Would you like to talk about that?
I remember we pushed the 7 down and dropped something.
Yeah. I'm going to clear my screen. Can I clear my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to pull that up in Classroom Maestro, Edison, and show you what I did, what I've done in the past. So, playing the 5-7 gets to be kind of a handful. So, if we are talking about omitting or leaving out one of these notes, there's only one note that you can possibly leave out. If we leave out the bottom note, we no longer have a 5 chord. We have a diminished 7 chord. So we can't leave out the root. If we leave out the third, we're missing the note that tells us whether we have a major chord or a minor chord. So we can't leave out the third. We can leave out the fifth, and we still get that 7th chord. But we can't leave out the 7, or we no longer have a 7th chord. We just have a dominant chord. So the only one that we can leave out is the 5. Now here is a little cool acoustics of physics and sound experiment that I'm going to do with you. I am going to hold down this D, and I'm going to play the G, and hopefully over my mic you'll be able to hear this and pick this up. The reason why I'm putting my finger on the D is to lift the damper or the mute off the string. And if you listen really carefully, you should be able to hear that note ring when I play the G. Let's give it a try. Do you hear it? So the point of this is to show you that your ear will fill that note in because of the acoustics. Now, granted, this doesn't really work with electronic instruments necessarily, but in an acoustic environment, your ear will fill that note in. If I only play these 3 notes, do you hear it? So that's another reason that you can leave that note out, is your ear will fill that in anyway. Does that help?
So which one are you leaving out? The 5th?
I'm leaving out the 5th.
It's-
I'm leaving the D out.
So you're going to play 7, 2, and 4.
Right. And on an acoustic instrument, you'll hear it ring anyway. It's something that's demonstrated a lot easier in the classroom. I just have everybody come up around the piano and listen for that note, and everyone can hear it. And they're like, oh, yeah, I totally hear it.
So we didn't put a note down in the bottom. We just dropped the bottom note.
Yeah, what we actually end up doing is we play it like this in first inversion.
Wait a minute. But that, I don't get it.
Well, this is straight from your chord progression from last semester, Edison. We did the 1 chord, then we did the 4 chord, and we went back to the 1 chord, and then we did the 5, 6, 5 chord, and then we went back to the 1 chord. So
Yeah, we did that, but now I don't get why. 5, 6, 5, 5, 6, 5.
What don't you get?
Well,
So this chord right here, Edison, is just this chord with the 5th taken out and the bottom note put on the top. So we've got our B, we got our F, and we've taken our G and we put it in on the top.
okay, yeah. So we did move the 7. We moved the 7 up to the top.
No, we moved the root up to the top.
The root was 5.
Yes, and the 5 is now on the top. You're right.
We didn't drop the 5 then.
We took the fifth of the note, the fifth of the chord out, which is our 2. We're omitting scale degree 2, which is the 5th. So don't get scale degree.
Yeah, that's what confused me. I thought you were taking the 5 out and it didn't make sense.
Yeah, we're taking the 5th out, which is scale degree 2. Good clarification there.
Okay, so we're taking. Okay, you're taking the 5th of this chord out,
Correct, which is
Which
scale
is-
degree 2.
which is really the 2 of the tonic.
Yep, the 2 of the scale, the 2 of the key. You got it.
Uh,
So what I want to do next time is I want to pull up our first harmonization example. I want to put in the 1s, the 4s, and the 5s, and then I want you to put in where you think some substitutions would work nicely. Okay? So have a good weekend. Be safe. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Remember who you were and what you stood for, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Monday is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so I won't see you until Tuesday next week.
Cool. Gotcha.
All right. Have a good day.
You too. Have a good, wonderful.
okay.